Hey guys, so today what we're going to be doing, we're analyzing the Senate race in the state of Indiana between Mike Braun, the Republican challenger, and Joe Donnelly, the incumbent Democrat. So it's both this race is a very interesting race. Maybe not as interesting as other races, but still. This is Mike Pence's home state, and it's definitely something that Mike Braun can use to his advantage, and that's kind of the overview of this video. We're going to be taking a look at how previous elections compare to this round. Then we're going to be taking a close look at the polling data that we have, which has been going back and forth, and then we're going to finally wrap things up by looking at the Indiana Senate race, the results, and my prediction. I'm really sorry, I'm quite distracted right now. But anyway, let's start off with the US Senate race right in the state of Indiana. Okay, so if we look at where the incumbent Democrat did very well, he did well in Lake County. He racked up a pretty good lead over there. He did well in Indianapolis, Monroe County, Vigo County, a lot of other places, Delaware County, but there were many other counties where Mike Braun just ran up the score in these rural counties. Here, look, 64%, 65%, 52%, a bit close to that one, but that had a city in it. Adams County, 67%, 63, 63, 56, 63, 75%, 72, 64. You kind of get the picture. I'm just going through all these counties, and they're pretty much just really solid for the Republican Mike Braun. And it wasn't such a big surprise that Mike Braun or Joe Donnelly could win. I had Joe Donnelly as a narrow favorite, if I can find that one. Yep. But it wasn't really a big surprise to see Mike Braun win. What was kind of a surprise is the margin that he won by. He won by a solid 6% in the race. He kind of just crushed Donnelly, and I was like watching the election night, and it was like 65% for Mike Braun, and I'm like, he's not going to win with 65%. Right, and as more of the vote came in, yes, Donnelly narrowed the gap, but I was kind of surprised to see it go for the Republican in a Democratic wave year where Democrats picked up as many as 40 seats in the House in a Democratic wave year in, yes, a leaning Republican state, but not safe Republican. Obama won the state in a Democratic wave year. So I wasn't, it could have gone either way. You had a conservative Democrat on the ballot, which I don't think necessarily helps, but you could make an argument for or against having a conservative Democrat in conservative states. That's another thing I want to point out right after this argument. But Joe Donnelly, really, he just pissed off his base in the final week. He ran an ad saying that he was kind of for President Trump's border wall and for all these Trump things, for the tax cuts, blah blah blah. And then he said, well, some leftists are trying to do socialized medicine, and that really pissed off his base in Lake County and in Indianapolis. And if he didn't do that, right, he probably still would have won by the same margins. Not the same margins, but he would have. See, he got about 200,000 votes in Indianapolis. He could have got 250,000 votes, 300,000 votes, which could have narrowed this gap and make it look like a less embarrassing defeat for Joe Donnelly. Because this is an embarrassment to have a Democratic wave year where Democrats are picking up as many as 40 seats, right? A Democrat, I know it's a Republican state, but he probably should have narrowly held on, given the night was probably a bit better for Democrats than previously expected. Now, again, very important. Now, another thing I want to go over. The conservative Democrats really just didn't do too well, and this is an argument that progressives can make, right? Let's go. I'm just gonna. Okay, it doesn't want me to do that. I'm just gonna open a few more tabs. Just one moment, please. This isn't necessarily about the Indiana election. I'm just going to go through some examples of the conservative Democrats, with one exception, with the Arizona Senate race, with Kristen Sinema. She won, being a very conservative Democrat. Sorry. Right, Indiana, conservative Democrat Joe Donnelly. He lost. In Tennessee, conservative Democrat Phil Bredesen did really poorly compared to where he was beforehand in 2006 as a governor, much more left-wing, and he was able to win every single county. Conservative Democrat Joe Donnelly lost, right? If we go into the state of Missouri, where conservative Democrat lost there, and then also in the state of North Dakota. Okay, so looking at all these, they all pretty much lost. Each one of these conservative Democrats in hotly contested races. In Tennessee, Phil Bredesen got beaten. He just got really downright beaten. Same thing with Joe Donnelly in Indiana, Claire McCaskill in Missouri, and Heidi Heitkamp in North Dakota. She really only won many of these cities: Fargo, North Dakota, Grand Forks, North Dakota. She actually didn't even win the Bismarck one, which is kind of a big city by North Dakota standards. She didn't really rack up what she was meant to be doing in these rural counties. She only racked up in places with really not much votes, and then Kevin Cramer ran the scoreboard on her in these rural North Dakota conservative counties. Now, all of these conservative Democrats, they lost because they pissed off their base. Phil Bredesen, he pissed off his base when he said he would have voted for Brett Kavanaugh. Joe Donnelly pissed off his base when he ran that ad saying he was for all the Trump things and against all the Democratic things. Claire McCaskill, she pissed off her base when she was kind of really acting like Trump. She did an interview with Fox News, of all places, where she said, I vote with him half the time, and really wanted to emphasize that. Claire McCaskill, one thing, I believe you were a Hillary Clinton supporter in 2016, so that is something to note. And then in the state of North Dakota, Heidi Heitkamp pissed off her base by voting by voting against Brett Kavanaugh, and by not really pissed off her base, but anyway. Anyway, I just wanted to go over those states because they had poor Democrats running, and they pissed off their base. Now, in 2012, Joe Donnelly narrowly won against a very, very flawed opponent, Richard Murdoch. Now, sorry, I just pressed escape. There we go. Now, he won kind of a lot of counties. Now, if we look here, he won 4, 5, 6, 7. He won about 9 counties here. I can't even count how many counties he won compared to the Republican. Now, Mike Braun just swept the floor against Donnelly in the rural counties, and Rupert, I don't even know how to say his name, Murdoch, Joe Donnelly did actually win in some conservative counties, and he just ran up the score big time in Indianapolis, and what's that other one? The Lake County. Now, that's also something to note. Definitely Joe Donnelly underperforming compared to what he did in the year 2012. So let's just go down to 2018. Right, so many political pundits had this race as a toss-up, with the exception of the Sabato Crystal Ball, which had it as a leaning Republican in the final days of the campaign. Now, we've done talking about that. Now let's go on to looking at the polling data from the race, and we'll compare it to how they did. Excuse me. We'll compare it to how the polling did to the final results. Now, Braun won by 5.9. Where's a poll that shows Braun winning by 5.9? There was no. There was no poll that showed Braun winning by anywhere close, with the exception of this, which was, by the way, a Republican poll. Republicans were underestimated in the state of Indiana, but some people, they saw through this. They saw through this, because look at the numbers. Donnelly was leading, but he was barely at 45% of the vote. He was at 44.3% of the vote to the Republicans' 43%. Now, look at the final results just on Joe Donnelly's side. Just ignore the Mike Braun side, right? So, he had 44.3% in the polls. He narrowly outperformed in the final results with 45.1%. But look, on the Republican side, the Republican vote was underestimated in this. And it's very not looking as great for the Democrats in Indiana. Last time they won a statewide election was in 2012. Before that, I believe it would be 2008 with Barack Obama. So Indiana Democrats not doing as well as they once were. Now, comparing the final results to my final prediction, I had this in the tilt Democratic column. I did have it in the leaning column, but then after he voted against Brett Kavanaugh, I moved it into the tilt column. But really, Mike Braun won actually in the likely Republican column, which swings it 3 spots more Republican, moving to tilt Republican, that's 1, leaning Republican, and then likely Republican. So 3 spots more to the right than it once was in my prediction. Now, thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I'll see you all in the next one.